Welcome to the Prophecy Club. You know, we have had some really strange weather lately. Why is that? What is going on with the weather? Would you believe that there is a secret weapon that the Americans tried to perfect, but they couldn't perfect it? I understand that we have a basic math calculation in our understanding of math, and it will not allow us to calculate it out. However, the Russians don't have that problem. And the Russians have perfected this to the nth degree, and it may very well be, it certainly explains a lot of our strange weather. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about scalar wave. It was first invented by Nikola Tesla, and I'm about to have Bill Schnoebelen come on and tell you all about it, so I won't take all of his thunder. But the point is, this scalar wave can go around the globe, and it basically leaves one spot and then appears in another spot. It can make large amounts of the atmosphere very hot or very cold. Well, so what does that do? Well, you make something very hot, the very large amount of the atmosphere, and what do you cause? A tornado or a hurricane. Or you make it very cold and you bring in massive amounts of snow and ice and things like that. So that can really cause havoc in an economy and in a nation. And it is, let's put it this way, I'm not the only one that believes that the Russians have probably been using this on us and other nations for a long time. Then there's the other explanation about the birds. You remember, here a couple of years ago, there was reports of birds just falling, entire flocks, just falling out of the air, dead. They were dead by the time they hit the ground, okay? What is that? That can't be some disease. You can't get a whole flock of birds to die in mid-flight. And then, of course, we also had millions of fish washing up upon the shores of lakes and some streams. What is all that? Well, let me just explain. All of that can be caused by scalar wave. Scalar wave can destroy anything in the air, on the ground, on the sea, under the sea, any place on the globe, anytime they want, and here's the kicker, there's very little residue to let you know that this is what has done it. Matter of fact, there are a lot of people that believe that's what took out the Challenger, okay, scalar wave. Now, we're going to go over and listen to the audio of a DVD by Bill Schnoebelen called Russia's Secret Weapon to Defeat America. Now, when we made this DVD, we made it in a TV studio, and they put background music on part of my introduction, and I can't remove that, but I want you to hear this introduction. So we're going to start with my introduction, but you'll hear some background music on it. That's the music that we use for the TV program, and also the DVDs, or at least that's what we did at the time. But this information is really powerful and really important, so much so that instead of asking $30 for this DVD, you can get it today for only $15 by calling your Prophecy Club, 785-266-1112. More on that later. Now, Bill Schnoebelen in Russia's Secret Weapon to Defeat America. From the dreamer vision called The Beast Strikes, it says, his voice boomed at me, telling me to look to the right. I was awake, not sleeping. I was standing, and I turned my head as ordered. When I looked, I saw that there was a great flock of black birds with very sharp, large beaks. Out of the beaks came a blinding light. Now, folks, what he's talking about is birds that have, not just birds, it's actually airplanes that has a blinding light coming out of them. Okay, continue. Blinding light, which I could barely look at. From their tails, I saw flames of fire shooting out. I then became very scared. I rubbed my eyes thinking I was sleeping and dreaming. I was neither sleeping nor dreaming. In other words, it was a vision. This flock of birds suddenly turned into airplanes that did not make any noise. In other words, what this prophet of God was seeing is some kind of a new advanced Russian weapon. Airplanes that can fly through the air that do not make any noise. Does America have any airplanes that can fly through the air that doesn't make any noise? Not that I know of, anyway. That don't make any noise. And then from their tails, lightning or flames of fire shoot out. Now that sounds like it might be laser. Some kind of a new weapon. Some kind of a new airplane flies through the air silently that has a laser that can knock out anything else that is attacking it, whether it's a missile, ground-to-air missile, an air-to-air missile, or some kind of another plane. The American airplanes would go up trying to attack, but as they would draw close, they would fall to the earth in a blaze of fire. Folks, that is pretty dangerous to think that the Russians have some kind of an airplane that can fly silently and knock out anything that we throw at it. Okay, there's more. From Sanctify You and Yours, it said, "It seemed I was suddenly on an American airplane, which was about to land with me in California. I heard sirens which howled loudly, and a great sound of many plane engines was heard. The noise of the engines grew louder. The man beside me, the angel, the man beside me turned to me and said, 'These are planes loaded with atom bombs, and no one and nothing will be able to stop them.' Then suddenly a great number of black planes lifted off the ground like a flock of birds. I knew the planes were American. Once again, the American planes could do nothing. This kept kind of like grinding in my spirit. What is this? Does Russia have some kind of a new secret weapon where it would totally annihilate anything that we have in the way of an air force, so much so that they could fly airplanes filled with atom bombs over America and drop them at will, and we were helpless to stop them?" And this began to grind in my spirit, and it just wouldn't go away. And I dug this out and I read it again. And it was like God was just laying on my heart, I have to do something to expose this. And I thought, well, fine, I guess I'll research it, but I'm not really much of a technical person, and it would be very difficult for my brain, without the supernatural help of God, to remember all of this technical stuff. But I was determined to share with you what I think could be a prophet telling us that America is in serious trouble, that the Russians do have some kind of a secret weapon that can knock out anything in the air. And it just kept laying in my heart. And then I remembered someone mentioning something about scalar wave. And then I remembered I went to a website one night when I was searching for a speaker, and I found something about scalar wave on that website. So I went to the internet. Sure enough, I looked up scalar wave, popped up, and here was all kinds of stuff, exactly what they're talking about here. So I thought, well, I don't know if this is real or not, and I certainly don't want to be putting anything out that's not accurate. So I prayed, and I said, God, if this scalar wave is what's doing this, if this scalar wave is something that you want me to expose, then I need you to speak to me on it. And I said, I'd like for you to give me a dream on scalar wave. And this particular issue of the magazine, that dream is in its entirety, along with part of what I'm talking about here. I put the dream in the magazine, May-June 2005 issue. Here's the dream. I dreamed that I was sitting in my car along the side of the road.